Hey everyone, this is Daniel, and today I want to demonstrate to you my business card scanner power app that I had built. And it looks like a lot of people liked it, and I tweeted about it as well. As you can see, I've got a whole bunch of positive responses back, and even people like Laura Rogers really enjoyed it. So what I did was I went ahead and put this little GIF over here just to demonstrate how it works, but I thought I'll at least build a good video to at least show you the key points of what got this whole PowerApps built, and then maybe you can take some of these ideas and take it to the next level. So in the app by itself, let me go ahead and demonstrate that to you again. In the GIF, I had actually shown how I took a picture from my mobile iPhone and took a picture of a card. In this one, I won't do that. I'll just take a picture of the scanned business card that I already have. So this is the app over here. It was built for a mobile device. There is the manual entry, but in this case I'll just use the scanned business card. So here's what the app looks like. It gives you a little bit more look and feel to it. And so now I'll click on that, and as you can see, I've got a business card over here, so I'll select that, and now I'm going to scan it. The Power App sends this to Flow. Flow goes ahead and does all the work that it was built for, which I'll talk to you in a second, and then it sends the information back. In the GIF, I didn't kind of walk you through some of the features of this app, but that's what I want to do right now. So as you can see, the information came through, and from the card itself, I was able to get the name, the role, and so on and so forth. So the way I build the app, it went through so many revisions that this is kind of what I liked. That first I can go ahead and select the name, which is Richard Kraft, but after I select that, I can go ahead and put in, decide wherever that entry needs to go. So I can put this over here. I know the top field was just for the name, but for the sake of convenience, say if I want to go ahead and add even the title, then I can go ahead and select President over here and directly click on that same plus button, and it adds it over here as well. So that was just an additional feature that I had added over here, that I can now, in the same button over here, go ahead and append to the existing data, and that just makes getting information from the scanned items to the actual fields, that whole process, a lot more easier. Same thing over here on the postal address. I can go back over here, click on that. Email address, I see that over here, so I'll go ahead and select that. Phone numbers can sometimes be a little tricky because you have cell phone numbers, you have office numbers, and that's why this appending actually really helps. So first I'll go ahead and do the cell phone number, then I can go ahead and do the office number, and it just appends to it. In this case, I don't have a Twitter handle, but if I had an email or anything in the card, I would just go ahead and append that over here. And finally, Richard was interested in all of them, so I'll just select all of these buttons check boxes, and then I'll go ahead and submit it. So what the submit does is it's taking all the information over here and it's saving it to an Excel spreadsheet that I have. So let me show you that. That Excel spreadsheet right now is saved in OneDrive. If I go and refresh it, again, I get showed this in the GIF that was actually this Excel spreadsheet is where the data is being saved. So I click on contact info, and right now you should see Richard's information stored over here. I want to spend a little bit more time talking, because remember, in the app I not only selected Richard Kraft, but I also put his job role or his job title appended to that field, and that's exactly what happened. See, there was Richard Kraft and then also the president. Postal address came through, email address came through, all the products that Richard was interested in also got stored over here, and then the phone number. But then what I also do is all the scanned information which was sent in to me by Flow, I go ahead and take that entire bundle of information and I append and I add that to the scanned info. This is just a good cautious way to do that is, yeah, I went ahead and selected the fields, and I selected the data that came through and added to the fields, but just in case, let me save the whole information as well, just so that I don't miss anything. That was the whole reason of adding that over here, because as you can see, all the information is stored. So that's just being cautious. So this is how the app worked. This is how the app worked from an end user standpoint. This is how the data was being stored. But let's take a look at the app a little bit more in detail, because there's a few things that I want to point out. This is the opening screen of the app. The manual entry is just manual entry, but it's the business app that I want to look at, and the scanning one. And so this is what the app looks like. as the screen opens up, I'm leveraging a few of the variables that I have. So I'm going to go ahead and set those variables back to false. And I'm also doing a lot of leveraging these checkboxes that I have over here. When the app opens up, I'm just resetting the checkboxes so that they are empty right now. And so that's what I did over here. When the app opens up, basically reset everything back so that it's reusable. That's one thing over here. Second thing is, let's look at the gallery. Or actually, before that, let's look at the scan button. The scan button takes all the information that we have over here, and it does a clear collect where I'm going ahead and kicking off that flow, which I've gone ahead and connected. So it takes the scanned image over here, which is also the upload image, and sends it to this data connection that I have to the flow. Let me pause over here for a second. In this scenario, I went ahead and created a custom connection using a Swagger file. You guys could go ahead and use the PowerApps, build a flow, send that image directly as well. If you want to go ahead and do it that way, that's, it's up to you. That's how we want to do it. In my sense, I just built a custom Swagger file, and so this is basically how my flow looks like. The Swagger file comes in, I just go ahead and do the get image, so I can transfer that the image that I get into the 64-bit conversion of the file over here. This is the the formula, and then after that I go ahead and send it to the OCR, take the image, what was the image over here, and then I send the detected text back into PowerApps. And so that's the flow. The flow actually was the easier part over here. Again, in my case, I use the Swagger file, but you guys can kick off the flow directly from PowerApps, or you can go ahead and build the flow into flow itself, where a new item is added into that PowerApp over there. So the flow part, what I'm talking over here, is the actual section into this place over here, where I'm going ahead and doing the clear collect. I'm saving it into the collection called scanned images, and in scanned images, this is where I send the image to that flow and then receive the data back again, which was that full text. So that's the button. The next thing I want to show over here was the actual gallery. Now the gallery was interesting because the way the data was coming through had actual enters. So let me go back to the flow and show an example over here. So in the flow, when I go back, let's take an example of the one I just ran. The data goes through, the data is coming in successfully from the flow side. So the data came through over here, which was the card. Everything was fine. I went and got the images, and then this is how OCR did, send me the information back. As you can see, there's a new line, a new line, a new line, a new line. That's how the data was coming through when I was scanning the card, and that's how the data is sent back to me as well over here. So that's when I had this little trick on the PowerApp side, is I went ahead and used the split function, but I used character and in the brackets 10-0. That 10-0 was able to split all the data which was coming in with the enter or the new line. That's what the character 10 did. The character 10 allows you to split the entire text, and anything which started off in a new line was saved into a different section in using the split over here. So that's how I was able to get all that information into 3 different lines, in a whole bunch of different lines, if you remember in the demo that I just did. And so that's why now I had that first, the full name, which was Richard Kraft over there. I went ahead and had the president or his job role was in a new line, and so that's what helped me to go ahead and get those checkboxes. And then when I selected each and every checkbox, it was going ahead and selecting the field that I selected, and the field that I selected was hitting the plus over there. So that's the second thing. The plus buttons over here, I was using a whole bunch of Concatenate, because every time I would select this from the gallery, the title.text, and let me show you that as well, because the gallery is basically just 2 sections. There's the checkbox, which is this one, and there's the title. The title is where all the information which is there using that split function. That's where the title is stored. So that's basically all the gallery that is there. What the plus button does is it's taking all the titles from that gallery and is appending it or concatenating it to that same section. So if you remember, and now you understand, that that's how I was able to go ahead and get Richard Kraft, and then when I clicked on this button, it concatenated even his job role, which was president. This is how I'm doing it over here using the concatenate. Same thing happened on the text side as well, or on the address. I can go ahead and do the exact same thing. You have to select that checkbox first, because it's the selected title 2, which is in the gallery, that's the one which is always going to be pulled in, and then you can always go and concatenate. Same thing happens for all of these ones over here. The final step of the getting the information is this little section over here. What I wanted to do was, when I go ahead and click on submit, it should go ahead and take all of these informations over here, the checkboxes, and put it into one different section. So let's take a look at the submit button over here, because that kind of explains how I did that. In the submit over here, you see the last concatenate. The last concatenate, what I did was that I've gone ahead and named all these checkboxes, but what I did was that I put it in the concatenate, to concatenate together. I put in one more step, which was the if function. So I said that in the if function, if this checkbox over here, see the auto SharePoint checkbox value, which is the one for here, when I select that checkbox and if it is true, instead of giving me the yes value, go ahead and put in the SharePoint. Then after that, since I'm concatenating, I go ahead and add that comma back over there. Same thing for the cognitive services also. I say that if this cognitive services checkbox is selected, and if that checkbox is true, I don't want that true value. I actually want the cognitive services text that gets checkboxed in over here. So now if you see, that's how all the data which is coming in the PowerApps, in the spreadsheet, this is why that data looks the way it looks, is because I'm constantly doing the concatenate, and in the concatenate I'm doing the checkbox. See this section over here? There was the SharePoint one because I selected the SharePoint checkbox, and then there was the comma. That's exactly how this is happening. See over here, that concatenate and that if function, and you see that comma? That's how that comma is working. Then finally, all said and done, it goes ahead and updates that information. I use the patch function to save it back to that Excel spreadsheet, and after all of it is done, I just go and reset everything back so that those variables will work, and then I navigate back to the home screen. So this in a nutshell was basically how I worked on it. As far as using the building your own custom connector Swagger file, if that's the the route that you want to take, there are quite a few other great articles over there. Paul Clumsy has actually done a good video on how to build that Swagger file. You can go and look at it, but the formulas are all pretty straightforward. Key ones that you want to look at is the split function over here with the character 10, and then the other ones over here for on the plus side, plus signs, is I went ahead and used the concatenate, and I'm saving it all into the global variables using the set function over there. So this in a nutshell was how I was able to build this app, and hopefully you guys can take it and then use it, or you can take it over to the next level, and I hope you guys enjoyed it.